And the Finger Lakes of all the regions in New York are one that are notable upstate for their physical characteristics. Large masses of land and akin to fingers on a human, and only one of these fingers points out where the great racing is, and it's by Schuyler County, New York, as we are at Watkins Glen International here for the Maconi Setup Shop 110. As we get it started from the commentary and production side of things here tonight, I'm David Kreutz. I hope you enjoyed tonight's production as we get things started with Sean Conklin, currently top of the board here in practice, flying right by the start-finish line. That time through, his fastest lap so far is a 1 minute 11.565, and last time through, he ran a 112.112. A bit of an extended practice to ensure that every driver is able to comprehend and understand how they drive here at Watkins Glen, a sea of twists and turns, and this has been a season predominantly made up of oval tracks, and one of which, of course, the last one we saw when we went racing, Talladega, a great finish there. PBR able to come out on top with Max Molina, but now the road course aces get their time to shine as Hunter Whitlock going to be able to make a pass there into the 9th spot here in practice, and it looks like it's going to be Marcus Vanderlee who gets shot down into 10th. He's going to be right there by the S's as we get it started. Turns left and right tonight, and it's going to be a much different challenge from what we're used to. Talladega, the last track we went to, one of the fastest tracks in the NASCAR circuit, 2.66 miles of full throttle racing, and here at Watkins Glen it's anything but, as Kenny Rio is going to make a bit of contact with Sean Conklin. Conklin runs all the way out wide and hits the number 11 on his way back to the stripe. Coming out on the inside line into the stripe this time through, it's going to be Conklin once again, and currently he's going to be up at the top of the board in practice by about 1/10 of a second, so he still has a marginal gap over the remainder of the pack so far, as Jackson Carr going to be in 5th in now a different paint scheme representing Ross Chastain's number 1, that 55, with a totally different look as he's going to be on the move. Brandon Redford, Josh Williams in chat so far tonight. Thank you all for stopping by as we're just getting it started. Michael Dyke's going to be there in 6th. Cameron Perez debuting tonight for Proximity to Racing, going to be on his way in proximity to the front of the pack as he's going to be 7th already, as we still have 4 minutes remaining before the show gets on the road, and drivers getting their final practice laps in as we ride on board with Cameron so far. You can see he's nice and smooth, getting right up to the curb and eating them just a bit, but not going to be all too aggressive as he gets right out there. Very slight handwork, just getting himself through with the least resistance he can possibly give. His car is the number 5, going to come down this time by into the first set of turns. Breaks it in, gear shifts galore, makes it through. So there's going to be a multi-car wreck in front of him, just staying nice and smooth. That's the game plan for Cameron Perez so far as he comes into the S's here. Now, you see he gets it a bit wound up and he's going to spin around, pushing to the limits. That's what qualifying is all about. Drivers right now testing what they have and what they have not in terms of pace, in terms of tire, and in terms of fuel. One fast repair for 45 laps here tonight. So you have to be very, very precise with your movements all race long. Only one big reset. And from there on out, well, you're going to be on your own the whole way through. Sean Conklin, while he's on his own, he's still going to be the fastest man out, and he still has time. So we're looking at least 2 full laps, and Conklin still going to be taking the track limits a bit liberally there as James Thurston bounces up to 2nd on the board. And Thurston at 96 machine, we haven't seen all too much of him so far, but now he is here to put himself back in the championship mix. Missed a lot of time at Talladega, and we don't mean that he missed a race. He actually did miss many laps and almost an hour's worth of the race. Still able to grab a few spots on the way out, but James Thurston, who came into the round of 11 as absolute odds-on favorite to make it to the round of 7, is now in a bit of a trailer position. The 96 going to be able to bounce over the curbs nice and easily as he comes up to a smoke show right in front of him. But Thurston, despite him having a bit less experience here, less practice, he joined in just a few laps ago, 2 laps ago, according to our timing and scoring. Still one of the fastest men on the board to come down to the start-finish line, getting through the final left-right segment. I tell you what, James Thurston, a man on the move as he's currently going to be 2nd on the board, looking to go top side as he's about 7/10 faster than his average lap so far. And his average lap, well, it's only 1 lap as he comes out of the stripe this time by using every inch of the track. I do believe that James Thurston will take it to the top of the board this time by, and that he will. New leader in practice, and that's going to be with a 110.938. James Thurston, P1 on the board. And the 96 machine, you can see he's on the edge of those curbs, just able to use them to his course, the freedom that he has, he's using it to the limit, as it's going to be Hunter Whitlock in 9th so far, and Michael Deitch falling down into 8th. And Deitch looks to be in a bit of trouble there, going through the S's, gets in the grass just a bit. No worry, he'll be able to keep on going as the 56 moves on without much issue. Cameron Perez comes to strike that time by. His lap will not count. He's currently 7th and right behind Brandon Redford in terms of pace. But Perez is going to go all the way wide there, able to save it, but going to lose a lot of lap time, and that will invalidate his lap. iRacing is very restrictive when it comes to the way these guys, of course, are officiated in terms of track limits. You go a bit too wide past the curbs, you're done. Slow down penalty, and that will invalidate your lap in practice. Well, in practice, doesn't matter all too much, as Perez is going to be able to take it around this time by again, but it will mean a lot in qualifying. And qualifying being so late into the season, the 15th race of this season, as a matter of fact, it's going to be the here and now when it comes to a driver like James Thurston or Sean Conklin and their championship chances. Remember this, Sean Conklin, second fastest here, has been up front all season long, came in as the final seed in the championship. As a matter of fact, he was gifted that spot due to a playoff absence for a driver that was going to be able to make it, and it was Mason Flagar there, as now Sean Conklin with that eligibility, with the burnt rubber 54 burning up some rubber on your screen. Less than a minute to go is Max Molina going to be able to make his way through as well. Molina, last week's winner at Talladega for PBR, and the PBR guys are known for their unison, their harmony as a team, and tonight, Molina hoping to prove that there is no difference. They seem to be unstoppable when they work together. Coming out of the stripe this time by Max Molina, going to be able to make it through that 45 machine on the tear so far. 5th on the board, 28 thousandths behind his teammate, and now 1/10 above exactly. Down to the thousands, Molina is going to be able to take it up into 4th. Drivers are flipped over. Hunter Whitlock is going to be one of which. Beaver Serrano right there with him as one driver passes by, and that one will be Sean Rowe. 3rd on the board he currently is, as qualifying going to be on its way here and now. Practice going to be led off by James Thurston in the number 96 machine, and here we will go again. Thurston going to rip himself into the catch fence, as it's going to be time for him to see what he has in the fastest 2 laps he will have to run all night long. The barrier so far, 110. Only one driver has passed it, and that's the 96 as we get things going here in qualifying. John Smith, the first driver, going to be on his way, and you can see that he's going to be on pit road so far. Nobody there with him. Marcus Vanderlee going to be out. Cameron Perez going to be on the move very soon as he's on pit road, and now he's going to get rolling. James Thurston, similar situation as Zach Todriff goes on his lonesome as well. And Zach Todriff, Auto Club winner, not eligible for the playoffs, but nonetheless a fast driver. And he's been putting on a great show the past 2 races for Rowdy Energy now. Looking to get things a bit rowdy himself as he gets into the wall that time by. He'll have to reset immediately. And Ross Corlett going to be on the move as well. And Corlett able to take home a pole position, I believe, at Michigan, or no, that'll be his teammate in Dustin Pickle. But these guys, these CCH Motorsports guys, have had a lot of pace all season long. Andrew Cootie, one of which who dominated the first part of the season before exiting due to outside the sim factors. When it comes to the way these guys have dominated the league, second to none in the first half. But now it's going to be all about capitalization at the end. PBR, Power, Smash, Infinity Speed. These are groups that are starting to catch up on someone like Corlett and someone like Bryce Hamrick, his teammate, and they will have to put themselves at wit's end to make something happen. John Smith, the first driver we saw out, it looks like right now he's going to be coming down to stripe any moment now, but it looks like it will be Ross Corlett who's going to lead us into our first 2 laps of timed racing here, and it's all about getting that fastest lap. Let's get him down to the start-finish line. No flag waving just yet, but the green is out here in Watkins Glen in qualifying. And currently it's going to be Ross Corlett on the move. Marcus Vanderlee going to take it way wide there. He's going to have to back it down. And now he's going to be trying to warm up his tires as he's not going to despawn. John Smith makes it past the stripe. And looks like Michael Deitch has as well. Michael Deitch, it looks like the only New Yorker in the field, save for Zach Todriff. So New York is represented well with drivers who have won this league, or drivers that are just clicking at the right time. Deitch in that 57 has been on the move the past few races. Oh, so close to winning at Talladega. Coming home with a podium and leading dozens of laps last time through at Michigan. So now the driver of the 57 has to step it up here with a road course. It is, of course, from his home state, and that's going to be the same situation for Zach Todriff. The pressure is off his back for this season. He won, and he didn't win at a plate track. He had that pace naturally and was able to call the right shots in strategy, and everything else he had went in his favor. So right now in the Maconi Setup Shop 110, these guys have to set themselves up just right in order to get the victory. And right there, setting himself right off the S's, Nice and smooth. Zach Todriff able to do so as nobody set a time lap just yet. It looks like so far top of the board is not claimed by anyone. Jackson Carr not going to be the first to claim it. Cameron Paris with 114 will be, as Jackson Carr going to decimate that lap by 2 seconds, but it's not going to be counted. Michael Deitch going to be now first on the board by a half second over Cameron Paris, and Paris just warming up his stuff. John Smith going to be able to take it in with a 113.4, and the do it right number 48 machine able to do it right so far, and it will be all about what he does in this second lap of qualifying. Bryce Hammer going to be on the move as well. First lap's going to be almost over for him, but looks like now it's going to be entirely over as that first lap invalidated. Sean Conklin takes it up by 2 seconds now. Conklin going to be top of the board with a 1 minute 11 second lap. How about that? This man is on the move. That's Sean Conklin, top of the chart so far, and he's going to have that pace. See how long he can hold on to it. The man at that number 54 position, number 1, and James Thurston right now going to be in that second spot, and he's going to be able to make a nice move up to the chart setting. Of course, he's going to set at the top, and this time it looks like he won't. He's going to be second on the board by 55 thousandths of a second, so keep him in your mind as he's now going to be right there in the battle for the pole. James Thurston going to be able to hold on as Sean Conklin leads the way so far in the battle for position number 1 as they barrel in this time by Conklin. Holds on strong. James Thurston going to be in second, and Cameron Perez now going to be in third. Perez off the track. Sean Conklin coming down the line this time by. What's he got in store as he comes down this time through? It's going to be Sean Conklin, the 54, looking to make it happen, and happen he will make it so. He's still going to be top of the board, gets a minor improvement, and now James Thurston going to have to chase him down a 1/10 of a second to get through there as they come on to the outside of the racing service. A big wide segment there. That could be a track violation when it comes down to the track limits. We will see. It's not all definite yet as James Thurston going to come down the line this time by, and it will be his final opportunity. 5 minutes going to be here on the board. Brandon Redford takes it up to third, but this is a battle for the pole position as he comes off the line. James Thurston, number 96 machine, going to be able to take it up to the front row, that's for sure, and he will be able to improve, but not improve enough. That's going to be it for James Thurston's run. Position 1, not his call to action just yet, and James Thurston going to be second on the board. And it's going to be Sean Rowe taking it up into position number 5. John Smith going to be still on his way, it appears. Now he backs it down, and Sean Rowe getting the extra practice as James Thurston not able to clear and pass Sean Conklin for the pole position. And there you have it. That's sometimes how it goes here at tracks like Watkins Glen. It gets intense when it comes to a battle for the pole position. And here and now you saw it once again. James Thurston just not able to make it happen. And it goes to the driver of the number 54. Sean Conklin gets it done, and we'll get a word with the man who's going to be sitting on the pole position. Unfortunately, so far, it does not look like we would get a word from him, so we'll get a talk from now the driver in the 5th spot on the board, Cameron Perez, top 5 in qualifying so far. How you feeling?
It could be better. I mean, I don't have a lot of laps with the next-gen car here at Watkins Glen. I mean, thought I'd hop in here, barely any practice. Just going to try and take it easy in the early half of the race and keep my car in one piece.
And certainly looking to keep that car in one piece, and a lot of time to make that happen. So 45 laps here, and you said not a lot of experience. What's it going to take for you to rise to the occasion here? Because these guys certainly have experience with their next gens.
Just taking advantage of other people's mistakes. I mean, Watkins Glen and road courses is the kind of place where people make mistakes, so we just got to minimize our mistakes and take advantage of others.
Absolutely all about taking advantage when you can. Now, it looks like only one faster pair here tonight. I don't believe there is a tire set limit, but tire is going to be especially important. How have they felt so far in practice and qualifying?
I don't really have a basis on the tire wear. I've only ran a few laps, but feel pretty good. Car has a good amount of grip, so we'll see what we got here in the race.
And that we will. Now 2 minutes on the board so far, so any final thoughts?
Just hoping to get this thing going green.
And there we have it, Cameron Perez, top 5 of the board here in qualifying. Thank you for your time.
Yep, thank you.
Drag him right back in. That is the driver of that number 5 machine, Cameron Perez, on the move, as he's going to be top 5 of the board here in his first start of the season. Only 2 drivers on the board so far that are still taking laps in. Dustin Pickle, this will be his second and final. Gonna have to nail it in this time by. And Pickle currently gonna be 14th on the board. Looks to be much faster this time by. So it should be about a second's worth of improvement. Coming down to the stripe this time by. This should be a top 10 lap. And that it will not be by about a tenth of a second. Dustin Pickle going to be off, and he's going to be in 13th. Peter Serrano, Beaver Serrano, going to be on his way, and it's going to be the 66 machine taking on the track once more. I don't know if this lap is going to be validated. According to our timing scoring, no confirmation on that just yet, and it looks like that's going to seal the deal. This lap will not count when it comes to our qualifying procedure. So guys on the track, it looks like only Joaquin Stewart, Zach Milano, and Kenny Reel are eligible to take a lap, and that they have not. So with that being said, it looks like this is going to be the right time to get us in to our starting grid for tonight's event. Very few drivers eligible to take a lap, and it looks like that they will choose not to. So we look like we have a field of over 20 strong to get this one started, and we will get your starting grid on your screen for the Maconi Setup Shop 110. Maconi Setup Shop providing high-quality iRacing setups for any track, any car. It's all yours as long as you go to their website, MaconiSetupShop.com, and subscribe to one of their subscription plans or purchase entire packs. The best setups on iRacing, you're sure to find them at Maconi Setup Shop. Now let's get into it here for the starting grid of tonight's event. It's going to be the Maconi Setup Shop 110, as we mentioned beforehand, and let's kick this thing off in style. The drivers in the front row, we mentioned beforehand, it's going to be the 54 machine of Sean Conklin, right beside James Thurston with a 111.135 for Thurston, a 111.077 there for Sean. Then it's going to be Maximilian with a 112.107 in third, and Brandon Redford in fourth with a 112.183. Cameron Perez, number 5 machine on timing and scoring, going to be 5th on the board, 112.351. And then Sean Rowe going to be there with a 6th spot on the board. Rounding out the third row, 112.435. Jackson Carr going to be in 7th, 112.761 of the 054 of Zach Todger, who won 2 races ago, is going to be able to get it through 8th on the board, 113.124 for the New York native. Ross Cordlett going to be 9th with 113.219. And finally, round out your top 10, it's John Smith with 114.490, 1 minute, 13 second range. It's going to be the top 10 entirely. Only 2 drivers in that 111 ballpark. Guys are going to be getting on the grid as we speak. Hunter Whitlock going to be there in 11th. The 35 machine, 113.599 is Michael Dyke going to be in position number 12. Then it's going to be Dustin Pickle in 13th there with a 113.791. Following them, it's going to be Bryce Hamrick with a 114.563. It's going to be a standing start for tonight's race as well. Matthew Fainham going to be in 16th with 115.166. Peter Serrano is going to be a 114.998. And then Hunter Bogdan, first driver to qualify on iRacing. Then Kenny Reel in the 18th spot, and Marcus Vanderlee going to be in 19th with Anthony Trippi there in position number 20. Finally, to round out your grid for tonight's event, 22 drivers here to take on the Maconi Setup Shop 110. It's going to be Joaquin Stewart in 21st position in that number 79 machine. And finally, Zachary Milano there in position number 22. The number 20 going to round out the pack as we get things started here upstate. Once again, Watkins Glen International here for the Maconi Setup Shop 110. And that will be your starting grid for tonight's event as we get things started here and now. And it's going to be a great show for these guys to put on as we have a standing start to get us started. And we're going to get your timing and scoring back on your screen. It looks like now going to be the pace car leading off for one more lap. James Thurston going to be right there with Sean Conklin as they get it rolling for the first time here tonight. One lap to get settled in, and then you're just going to be along for the ride as the iRacing official pace car in its Porsche configuration going to lead these guys off, a Ford and a Toyota on the front row of the grid. And as we get things kicked off here in Schuyler County, it's going to be the 96 machine looking to make up points, and the 54 looking to take every point he can get. Fell a little bit back in the round of 11, able to make a great recovery and put himself back in championship contention as the round of 11 has gone on. But the round of 7 still awaits, and only very few drivers can consider themselves eligible. Max Molina so far absolutely is locked in, and storylines going into this race are going to be hectic. Max Molina in that number 45 machine, as everyone's going to be backing up immediately there. You could see these guys are in just a bit of trouble getting it started, and there they go again as the number 54 of Content is on the move there, and the front row going to be getting settled here and now. Max Molina going to be effectively locked in following his victory at Talladega. James Thurston going to be right there with them. These guys up in the front of the field have been second to none when it comes to their driving ability all season long. It has been especially impressive what they've been able to do. And the 54 machine burning some rubber and hoping to burn it down post-race, as he is currently in, of course, the pole position. We'll give you an update on what the point situation is for every one of these drivers as we get into it here and now in Watkins Glen. The 96 machine of James Thurston was leading the championship standings, is currently going to be position number 10 on the board of the championship hunt right now. He's going to be 8 points out of the cutoff region, and it's going to be extended to a total of 9 since Bryce Hamburg was able to pull off some bonus points last time we went racing. It's Max Molina and Sean Conklin, top 2 on the charts. Brandon Redford, a distant third. Dustin Pickle, Ross Corlett, Sean Rowe, and Bryce Hamburg are all safe. It's going to be up to Kenny Reel, Fana, Thurston, and DeWeldy to put it all back together tonight, because it looks like their saving grace would be here in Schuyler County. If they don't make anything happen, they'll have to take it to Bristol, and that's going to be a short track showdown with tempers galore as Thurston in the 96 machine runs it up high. Molina going to be there in the PBR number 45, and Brandon Redford going to be right there with them in that 47. Cameron Perry is going to be in 5th as we round the carousel and past the boot section of the Formula One drivers of yesteryear we're used to. Of course, Watkins Glen, multiple configurations, and their most iconic in the modern day is the one that they use for NASCAR and what was, of course, Indycar for a short period of time. But NASCAR has been the one series that has stayed in its form year after year, constantly evolving. We've been going to the NASCAR Cup Series event at the Watkins Glen International facility since the mid-1980s for about 30 years consecutively, and then some. So these guys looking to do that proud as the FORL Cup Series is rounding out its season with one more hurrah upstate. It's going to be Sean Conklin with James Thurston leading as we get things started here and now. The 54, the 96, fighting for a championship spot, and that final 4. Let's go racing once again here in Watkins Glen. The green flag's out on the Maconi Setup Shop 110. And every driver going to be able to take it nice and steady. Some guys going to get way wide in the back of the pack. Nobody wrecked just yet. You can see everyone is still going. But turn 1 heroes like Michael Deitch and John Smith going to lose a bit of time there. And we cross it up to the front of the pack. It's going to be the driver of that number. Well, the fine machine and Cameron Perez is up there as he fights to stay himself in the podium. He keeps himself there. And now it's going to be Sean Rowe fighting with James Thurston. The first lap out of 45, and guys are just getting settled in. As we can see a bit of a spin there. Cameron Perez is going to go right there with Sean Rowe. They're going to come right up the track. Perez is going to be around, and multiple drivers going to be involved in this one. Beaver Serrano involved as well, and this could be grounds for a caution already. That it has not become just yet, and now that it is. We'll get an instant replay on the matter and find out just what happened as we try to take a bit of a wider angle on the scene and find out what caused our first yellow of the night. Take it back about half a minute here on the instant replay, and you could see drivers are sending it in to the S's quite aggressively, and that might be the cause of the issue to start. Beaver Serrano going to be there as it's going to be Cameron Perez who goes around. Marcus Vanderlee and Bryce Hamrick do at the same time, and Serrano barrels in, and you can see a suspension destroyed there. Sean Conklin gets caught up in it as well, but Serrano takes a specifically and especially hard hit, and you can see John Smith getting caught up in the act there. Bryce Hamrick involved with him as well, and yellow number 1 on the night going to bring out multitudes of drivers with damage, and this could be grounds to already use the first fast repair on the night. So no shortage of excitement so far as the race has gotten on its way. John Smith going to be there in position number, well, now it's going to be 15th as James Thurston leads over Max Molina with Sean Conklin falling back into 6th. Drivers are still going to be recouping their losses there. 2 laps in out of 45, and certainly not the way these guys want to get it started, losing an awful lot of time immediately compared to the remainder of the pack. It looks like James Thurston has the edge even still as the safety car is going to lead him around the S's one more time. And with all that being said, Thurston now cruising at a pace of about 60 miles an hour around the Watkins Glen International facility. Driver is going to be back in tow. Looks like no driver in this top 20 that started the race are going to be out of it, but Zach Todriff on pit road and Cameron Perez falls back into 19th. And survival, a big aspect of this event. And now it looks like Cameron Perez is going to have a bit of trouble as he falls way back there. Max Molina going to be in the mix as well. Sean Rowe is going to be right there with him. But James Thurston holds on in first in the 96 machine. Still seems to be one of those guys that has it all figured out, as he's still going to be leading in an awful lot of pace in practice. He had a lot going for him as well in qualifying, not able to grab the pole, but it looks like right now he has something a little bit better than pole. A clean car as we get things rolling once again. Surviving that first lap is a very crucial thing as guys begin to figure out how these drivers associate themselves on track, who goes wider, who goes a bit shallower, and who ends up causing those wrecks early on. As these guys begin to file themselves out, yellow flags out, Brandon Redford going to come in. James Thurston leads them through, and right behind it's going to be Max Molina with Ross Corlett now in fourth. Sean Rowe holds on to the podium, and James Thurston, one of those drivers currently outside the championship cut line. As you see the 99 going to make it double filed here. We could go one to green. We'll see whether or not they choose to do so as we take a look at our pit road scenario. It's going to be the driver, the number 47 machine, leading these guys in onto pit road. We'll try to get a good look at the exit camera, and we will see who comes out and when. We're going to test something out here and now. This is going to be your leader camera, so whenever we're focusing on anything else, you should be still able to see the leaders on the screen at the very same time. So driver's going to be on their way, and that's going to include John Smith. He's going to be out and on the move, so the driver, the number 48 machine, gets out nice and smooth, and Brandon Redford going to be soon to follow him as we look at pit road's exit here. These guys have not gotten out just yet. Redford going to stay there. Jackson Carr there as well. Bryce Hammer going to be right there with them, and Beaver Serrano on pit road as well with Matthew Fainoff there in position number 19. Zach Todriff looks to be on the track as well. He's about a minute down in the field, but not a lap down, so going to be the better circumstance than those currently on pit road, able to get a few spots back, and now trying to chase down the lead lapper. He still has a lot of time to make that happen, but we will see how his efforts play out, as we still have a lot of time for these guys to get settled in for the remainder of this race. Only 3 laps in here in Watkins Glen. As we get back to live feed, it's going to be Conklin. Now on your screen, it's James Thurston, currently your race leader, and it's going to be Max Molina right beside him. Sean Rowe going to be in position number 3, and Ross Corlett in 4th as Sean Conklin now in that top 5. And even though he did get caught up in that incident, did spin around, it does not look like he has an awful lot of damage, if any, and the minimal impact that he faced going to be able to keep him in the leading battle when we get back to it. So 3 laps in, not losing as much time as he would if he got caught up in any other circumstance. So a bit of a lucky break here for the man in that number 54 machine, Sean Conklin, able to hold on nice and smooth. The rubber 54 right behind the rod car, number 91. Michael Dykes there in position number 6 and able to make it through the New York native Haas up to just outside the top 5. And this time by, we should go 1 to green. Kenny Reel going to be right there with Zach Todriff, and Reel is one of those drivers who has to reel his way back into the championship battle. Currently one of those 4 who are out of the round of 7. And James Thurston looks to be one of those guys who's going to punch his way in if this race continues to play into his favor. Did not get the pole position bonus. However, still an awful quick driver, James Thurston is, and he will be able to prove himself as the night goes on. That's just about a definite as we get back to it next time through. James Thurston holds on in first. Max Molina going to be there in second, and Sean Rowe, P3 on the board with Sean Conklin there in fourth. As these guys go double file once again, it's going to be all about how they enter that first turn. We saw some guys took it way wide, and thankfully we didn't see a wreck immediately, and the S's are a bit hard to avoid an incident, but when you have that incident on the first turn, it sometimes sets the pace for the entirety of the race. If we get through a lap clean, I tell you what, I do expect a longer green flag run. Might not be all too long, maybe 10-15 laps at the very most, until someone brings it back out, and we should have a stage break for tonight at about the halfway point. But either way, I think if we get 1 clean lap in, these guys will be able to show the talent they obviously have. James Thurston and Max Molina setting laps that are just about Cup Series level in terms of speed. 71 seconds around this circuit, 1 minute, 11 seconds, their best in qualifying, and a 70-second flat lap there for James Thurston earlier on in practice. 1 minute 10 is the threshold that every driver is going to strive to beat. Right now, it's all about getting up to position number 1 no matter how you get there. 4 in, out of 45. James Thurston going to be able to hold on with defending winner Max Molina right there with him. Sean Rowe going to be in 3rd. Sean Conklin in 4th as Ross Corlett holds on to position. Now, number 5 as they go side by side once more. Most often than not, the leftmost line on tracks in the NASCAR scene has the advantage when we go into that first turn. Well, here, since it is going to be a right-hander first, James Thurston has that edge on what is usually the outside line, and we have seen some variations depending on where we go. Sometimes the high side is dominant. Drivers choose to go up there, but here, Watkins Glen, it's almost a given that you want to be up on that right side when we get things started. And on the inside, he will be for the first turn here tonight. Max Molina going to be in second in the number 45 machine as we get things going once again. The 96 is going to be right there with the 45, and Sean Rowe going to be in 3rd as we get things rolling once more. Molina side by side, but James Thurston going to be able to get a nice jump once again. Here we go. Restart number 1 of the night. And everyone going to be able to barrel in nice and smooth so far. The leaders get out far and away. Driver's going to get a bit involved in the back of the pack. It's going to be one driver. Specifically, it looked like Dustin Pickle getting bounced back and forth. He's going to certainly lose the most time out of anyone there. 15-second instant replay to see what just happened. You could see a bit of a shove there by Marcus Vanderlee and Cameron Perez. They both set it in. Then Perez gets into the driver to the number 21 machine. Taps him once again. Moves him out of the way. And Pickle, able to keep it straight for the most part. Gets himself back with a 360 loop. But still losing a lot of time. 5 laps in, and now Dustin going to be coming up to what looked to be a bit of a smoke show there as drivers enter the S's. Nice and smooth for the most part. For the most part, it is indeed. Ross Corlett going to lose a lot of time. Looks like he takes a stop and go penalty and gets back on the way as Zach Todrick has a bit of trouble cutting through the grass there. As we get back on the way, and Zach Todrick going to let 2 drivers go right by him, almost making it 3. And certainly looks like something going to be wrong and detrimental this time by, and it looks like it is a suspension. Something looks to be twisted on that axle, and we'll take a quick look back to see why that is the case. Zach Todrick looks to have had a broken axle for quite a while here, and you can see he's still driving with it right there, able to make some passes, but goes up high, and that's when it becomes a bit more noticeable. Makes some contact. No, he doesn't with Hunter Bogdan, but something comes apart on that 54, and he just goes straight up into the wall. Whitlock going to be able to almost save it there, then noses it right into Todrick, and that's going to make it much worse, exacerbating the issue as it's going to be Anthony Tripp involved with a wreck. That time through loses a lot of time, and that's going to bring out the yellow once again. 6 in, and it's going to be him and Bryce Hammer. Let's take a further look back and see what happened. And the 94 with it there, the 95, Brandon Redford to the mix as well. Redford taps Hamrick and sends him into Trippy. That brings out the yellow, multi-car incidents galore. And it's going to be 1 that brings it out. The 95 and the 94 settle the score, and it looks like Hamrick gets the better of them that time by. 6 laps in, out of 45, caution number 2 on the circuit. James Thurston holds on with the lead. Advantageous so far in tonight's event. The Maconi Setup Shop 110. 1 leader, and it has been who else but James Thurston. A great run for him so far. Nobody going to be on his level. We'll see if anyone can step it up to the plate and try to pass the man at that 96, which so far that seems to be a bygone task. Nobody on his level indeed, and James Thurston holding on strong as he tries to dig himself out of a major points hole, and tonight could be the night to do just that. So far has not been a bad night for any opportunity, and it looks like an opportunistic James Thurston holds on strong out in front. A total of about 96 when it comes to the number, but 7 laps in, out of 45, far from the halfway mark here, and we've had 2 cautions already, so not great for these guys, but they'll continue to sort it out as Thurston holds on with Sean Conklin in second, and it looks like some drivers going to be bearing their way through. It's going to be the driver of, it looks like the number 1 machine on our time in scoring. Well, that's going to be actually the 55 of, Wells, but Jackson Carr getting his lap back that time by, and the 55 machine going to be the only driver going at full pace. And when we watch that, we'll be taking it to our non-stop. Jackson Carr going to hit the wall on the way there, and 2 drivers hit the wall. Zach Todrick there, and these guys absolutely have some damage. The leader is going to be on your screen at the same time, but as you can see, Todriff and Jackson Carr struggling just a bit to hold on, and the number 1 machine trying to keep himself in the mix there, but it looks like something going astray as he goes wide once more. Zach Todriff going to follow him here, and they will evidently come into pit road this time by to get some damage repaired. Going to be a bit harder to turn in, and it's going to be Jackson Carr who comes in, but Zach Todriff who opts to stay out and catch up with the leaders. The number 54 machine in Zach Todriff so far going to be 19th. Not his best race. Already through his one and only fast repair. Anything more, and he will be down and out of this one just like that with a snap of a finger. It appears like as only a few drivers have taken a fastie. It looks like only about 3, and those would be Ross Corlett, Brandon Redford, and Todriff. And Todriff, the last of which in position so far, 19th out of your 20 drivers who took the green flag. And the pace car going to be rounding the front stretch with the leaders this time by. It looks like very few will opt to pit. The yellow flag still going to be out as we send it back to the live feed. And it's going to be Jackson Carr on pit road. Then Zach Todriff still trying to make up time as it is still James Thurston top of the board. So far, 8 laps in, out of 45. Sean Conklin going to be right there with him. Max Molina going to be in 3rd. Keep it rolling. Double file this time by. James Thurston going to be able to hold on. Sean Conklin in 2nd. Max Molina going to be there in 3rd. And then Sean Rowe in position number 4. So it looks like these guys are going to be able to keep it nice and easy up front, but the remainder of the field, it's all fair game here as James Thurston still leads on that inside as we come to the first turn, and Sean Conklin still holds on in position number 2. But how about the man of Marcus Vanderlee? Got caught up in the first incident, currently going to be 5th on the board, and Marcus holds on in that top 5 with Michael Deitch right beside him. The 56 and the 57 going to be on your 3rd row, and these two have an awful lot of promise. And as we mentioned, Michael Deitch, one of the New Yorkers in this field. Marcus Vanderlee looking to dig himself out of the points hole even if he is not in the playoff run. We will see what he has in store for these drivers as we get to it in the Maconi Setup Shop 110 restart. Number 3 is upon us very soon. It will be led off by the 96 once again. Sean Conklin holds on there in 2nd. Max Molina going to be there in 3rd. 54, 45 going to be in the mix as it's going to be, wow, it looks like Jackson Carr going up way high, trying to get some more time in and perhaps score himself as the leader. Though it still appears he's going to be 1 lap down. They will not extend it for him. It is still going to be 1 lap to green, and it looks like Joaquin Stewart, league owner, going to be dead set on keeping us going this time through 8 laps in out of 45. Thurston going to be leading us in as Jackson Carr chasing down 1 more lap to get back with your leaders. 8 laps in, 2 cautions of the night have set the tone as we continue to have our racing given to us in small spoonfuls, but this time we're hoping to get it big as it's going to be James Thurston and Sean Conklin with a slightly shortened field up front. Looks like now only 4 drivers are taking their fast repair. Jackson Carr now going to be alongside Redford, Serrano, and Todriff. Restart number 2 in the night. Let's go racing once again. Thurston going to be there with Conklin, and we get back moving once more. 3 wide there. It's going to be Marcus Vanderlee giving a big send, and it's going to be John Smith who sends him all the way in. And new race leader Marcus Vanderlee with an incredible pass there. 3 wide at Watkins Glen. How about that? And these guys are going to be able to keep it straight. 3 wide once again for the lead. And now Sean Conklin going to be able to take it side by side, in and out. And it looks like in and out of the lead Marcus Vanderlee has been. And his pace is now evident. He's going to be able to rocket ship himself up to the top of the board with James Thurston there alongside Cameron Perez. Perez almost going to hook him, and Conklin getting into Thurston, and now Conklin is going to be in big trouble as he gets it almost into Thurston. They're both going to go around. Conklin gets the worst of it. James Thurston going to lose an awful lot of time as well. Sean going to fall down, and it's going to be Sean sent back to the spawn as he goes right outside of the racing groove, and we'll check in on that incident. Instant replay on the matter here. You can see he's already spinning by this point, but this one was brewing from the beginning of the backstretch. Conklin tries to play there, a bit of a block. James Thurston does as well, but you can see Cameron Paris has an awful lot of momentum. Conklin comes in, and it's going to be Cameron who swings him right around, able to save that one, but that was like a rocking door, open and shut, back and forth. James Thurston gets right with him. Perez does indeed, and then they make contact, and collision chaos there as Conklin going to go sent up right up on the track, able to avoid major damage as we keep it going, and the 54 going to be collecting himself in now 13th, gaining spots, gaining time. Now it's going to be Michael Deitch there in position number 2. Marcus Vanderlei there with now Sean Rowe machine as James Thurston able to keep himself in the battle. Cameron Paris falls down into 8th, and the 96 machine is hot on the heels of the 56. Let's take a quick look. And there you could see James Thurston gaining in slowly but surely on Vanderlei, who got the 3-wide bonsai move done to get the lead, but only for a short distance. And he was only able to maintain them until the back straightaway here, until the S's. So Thurston looking to get himself back on his feet. That 96 machine evidently has a lot of pace, 10 laps in. Now he's going to be here to use it. Sean Rowe going to be fighting side by side for a moment there with Michael Deitch, able to get that pass. And now the 99 hometown kid going to be in position number 3. The New Yorker relegated as Sean Rowe takes it into second. PBR 1-2 and Michael Deitch in third as Marcus Vanderlei holds on in fourth with the battle brewing with James Thurston. And I tell you what, Marcus Vanderlei having the best race of the season so far for him, an absolute display of pace and of competence. It's all about awareness here at the road course, and it looks like he's displaying it quite nicely. This time by Thurston has no choice but to use that inside to his advantage, and that he will. A nice arc of the corner for Marcus Vanderlei, but no use, and James Thurston back on his way as he looks to set the second fastest lap of the race so far, right there with Sean Rowe's lap, and they're separated by only 0.02 of a second in terms of pace. Max Molina, however, going to be able to set a 112.122. Nobody else going to be quicker, and that's going to be a wide margin out in front. So Molina has something going for him almost a quarter of the way into this event. 11 laps in, out of 45, and Max Molina holds on strong. The remainder of the field cannot compare. I think right now they refuse to compare, as there's still a lot of time until we get down to what could be another yellow, could be a break-in strategy. It's 11 in. It's going to be single file out in front. Hunter Bogdan now going to be in position number 8, right there with Bryce Hammer. Hammer trying to gain in on him, and Bryce, one of the drivers currently who is in the cards to make it in to the round of 7. So he's having a better run in the championship hunt than Hunter Bogdan was. Bogdan eliminated last time we had a cutoff event. He missed the next round by 1 point. He's going to miss the apex there by a wide margin. Now Hammer going to be able to soar on through, and Bryce Hammer makes it through with Sean Conklin. Hammer now going to be able to make his way up into position number 8, as now it's going to be Marcus Vanderlei losing an awful lot of time. He's going to be down on pit road this time through. This could be game time when it comes to strategy, but it could be it as well when it comes to his race. The 56 does not look to have any terminal damage, but he's coming down pit road nonetheless. So Marcus Vanderlei might be serving a penalty, and that it looks like he is a drive-through in and out, and he'll be coming out of that pit road penalty in 17th. Sean Rowe going to be right there with his teammate Max Molina. Now Rowe going to be able to take the lead. Rowe able to set a 1:11.967, now by a wide margin, the fastest man of the circuit, as Sean Conklin going to do battle with Bryce Hamrick, and Conklin gets the edge, and it's going to be Bryce Hamrick going to be the edger for the grass. The 94 going to go down and around, almost there, able to save it nice and steady. It's as silly as Sean Rowe holding on with Max Molina. James Thurston going to be right there as he sees Michael Deitch on the tail with Cameron Perez in 5th, and Anthony Trippi now going to be able to hold on in position number 6. Cameron Perez, the highest driver in terms of position, who has taken a fast repair so far, and John Smith going to force him way wide. Looks like a bit of contact there, able to keep it going, but certainly not going to be a happy driver. That number 5 machine is going to be Bryce Hamrick behind him, but John Smith directly in front, who might have consolidated his line. And while there was no physical contact, air displacement is a real thing in these cars. It can happen to you, and it can happen to any other driver around you. So for Perez right now, it just seems like he's going to have to hold on like it's no big deal, and certainly going to be something he's going to hold on to in his back pocket for later. But John Smith currently not a lead lap machine, so that 048 machine going to be currently in position, well, 20th out of 20. He's going to be dead last in the field so far, so not the best night for him as he lets Cameron by that time through, and he has a gaggle of cars coming up for him. Sean Conklin, one of which, and Conklin has the pace to chase down Cameron Perez about a second a lap. 1 second might sound like an awful lot, and actually, I'm going to say it quite opposite how I usually put it. It's not as much as it seems. At an oval, like what we saw last night in the Integrity Octane Series, where Ethan Lane clawed down a second a lap with 5 laps to go, That is a lot, especially when it comes to tire deficit. But here at Watkins Glen, you can gain a second and lose a second just like that. One turn goes wrong, then one turn goes perfect, and you're back dead even right where you started. So it's going to be all about managing what you got. And Sean Rowe right now managing himself the best. Max and Molina going to be able to hold on in second, and James Thurston in third. 14 laps on these tires. And it becomes the question for these guys, what's it going to take to hold on until the end of the race? Sean Rowe evidently right now going to be position number one by about a second's worth. That margin nice and smooth, not much to worry about. And 14 laps in, it's all about keeping his teammate right behind him. The PBR guys work oh so well together, and Rowe and Molina are up there in the championship hunt. Molina has blocked himself in mathematically to the next round. He was able to make a great showcase there. Sean Conklin absolutely right there with him when it comes to points entering, but exiting, it could be Molina's round for the taking, and he could get that advantageous position in the championship hunt, so long as he's able to capitalize here tonight in style. Right now, right behind his teammate, and we'll see how these two battle as James Thurston has made his way back up after an incident with Cameron Perez and Sean Conklin. Now it's going to be the 96 machine playing his cards just right. The 96 right there as we ride on board. And James Thurston in the mix right now. You can see takes it a bit wider off apex. Going to be able to make a nice correction, not overcorrecting it. And that is the key to keeping yourself steady while on the limit. If you make a bit of a mistake, it's still possible to correct it without losing an awful lot of time. It looks like he's about dead even with his average lap time after time. That lap for James Thurston was a 1 minute 11.324. That time by for Sean Rowe, half a second slower. So if you want to estimation or an amalgamation of the information that we have, well, I'll tell you what, James Thurston is fast, and he's coming in like a rocket ship with the Atsuno Miku sponsorship on the car. Good Smile Racing is having a good time out in front. That 96 machine is as he chases down the man in second. That is Max Molina, and it looks like Sean Rowe able to extend his gap as he's going to be the man in the 45 playing bumper cars, and he's going to be the buffer to your race leader for the PBR camp as Power Smash Infinity Speed led by your flagship driver in James Thurston. But take a look at Michael Deitch right now getting hounded by the man in that number 5 machine in Cameron Perez, but Deitch has been able to hold on in fourth. This could be one of his crowning races as well, following a podium in the race, of course, that was able to be won by Zach Todrick, able to run up front at Michigan and Auto Club consecutively. Cautions out, and I do believe that is the stage. So stage one could go to Sean Rowe in the 99, 15 laps in, and we will have 30 laps on the board from here on out as the first stage is over, and Sean Rowe going to be able to get the bonus points over Max Molina and James Thurston, your podium at the green and checker. That is your stage, and we're going to send it back and try to get an interview with the man who comes out on top here in stage number 1. Looks like right now not going to be available for comment, but Sean Rowe, top of the board. Michael Deitch, who was able to run in fourth in that stage, is available for comment. We will see what we will do. Hopefully, one of these guys up front we will be able to get a word with, because certainly a lot of divulging strategies in our longest run yet. Perez holds on with Sean Conklin right in front of him. And look at him go. The burnt rubber 54 still in front of Perez after that incident, and Cameron now going to have to lay it in on the inside line. There you go. We almost go side by side under yellow. And here we have it. 29 to go. The leader has crossed the start-finish line, and he's going to be able to gain in on your current leader, of course, in front of the entirety of the field. And then some, your iRacing official pace cars. We back it in this time through 29 laps to go. And McConklin out in front for a while, able to catch himself up into 6th. This is his saving grace, because Sean has an awful lot of pace himself. Best lap of the night, a 1:11.959, and that's the best lap that's recognized. He's absolutely gone a bit quicker, but he's might have used a bit more of the track than what iRacing would recommend you use, so it's going to be a bit risky for him to put a faster lap down for timing's sake, but he is still one of those drivers that's absolutely bad fast as the night goes on. So you can see Sean Conklin right there with Cameron Perez in 6th, and the 54 rounds out your top 5 with a 4th spot being pulled on by the 57 of Michael Deitch. 96 machine of James Thurston in third. Max Molina going to be there in second. And we will get a word with the man in that number 57. How we get to talk with who else but the man in that HendrickCars.com Chevrolet Camaro. It is going to be Michael Deitch in the number 57 machine. And right now, fourth on the board. Been a great run so far. How's it been out in front?
The restarts are very chaotic, if I'm going to be honest, because we got guys jumping all over the place, and, that's going to cause a lot of problems. But, we're managing. HendrickCars.com Chevy is good, and see what we can do in these next 30 laps or so.
And certainly the first 17 we are in right now. It's been a smooth run after that first two caution segment. And are you expecting to see more of that?
Oh, definitely. It's a road course.
And you're absolutely right about that, but we did see a few short cautions. So when it comes down to the tires, 17 laps in, we saw you fighting there with Cameron Paris right before the yellow came out. What's it going to take to keep these tires in their optimal condition?
Well, I'm not very good with tire management, but as long as I can be a little defensive and keep these guys behind me, I think we have a shot.
And certainly looking to have a shot as everyone's going to come in this time by. As we get to our pit cycle, what are you here for? As it looks like most guys are going to take 4 tires.
I'm going to do the same. 4 tires. Got fresh rubber on it.
Certainly everyone coming in for fresh rubber this time by. Again, back into the pit stall. Michael Deitch, top 5 so far. What are your final thoughts here?
Let's see what we can do in these next 30 laps or so.
And there we have it. Michael Deitch looking to see what can be done. The 57 machine currently going to be position number 4 before the pit cycle. We'll see what the rounds out. Thank you for your time.
10-4. Thank you.
Drag him right back in just a moment. Here's actually Michael. Looks like your voice chat is locked. We'll put you in another room for the time being.
All right.
Looks like Michael Deitch going to be with the admins for tonight's event. He's going to have to drag himself right back in. Just going to give him the warning. You don't want his communication to get severed. The driver of the 57 machine holding on there, however, in position now, number 6. It's going to be Anthony Trippi and Max Molina, top of the board here over James Thurston, Sean Conklin, and the aforementioned Michael Deitch machine. So that 57 able to hold on nice and smooth so far. We'll see what he has as the night goes on, as the top 5 now going to include him as Anthony Trippi holds on in front. Nobody else there on that gamble, as it looks like Trippi on a 2-lap old set already, so trying to play it just a bit differently. We get back to the show in just about a lap or so's time. Michael Deitch still going to be on your screen. The 95 machine is no longer your race leader. It's going to be the driver of the 45. If Anthony Trippi comes in that time by, it looks like he did not. But the oldest tires of the field, now it is the 095 machine. Beaver Serrano looks to be a retiree in tonight's event, and Hunter Bogdan is now 1 lap down. And ever since the playoffs came crashing down for him, not the best of luck. And Bogdan now caught 1 down under as he looks to get back up with the remainder of the pack. We'll check in on your leaders at the same time as Bogdan does this, and we will get it side by side once again, testing out our new side by side program to see the leaders at all times in case some other action is on the circuit. And right now, Hunter Bogdan to show you how it is to be going full pace trying to catch up to the leaders, and you'll see these two cameras emerge into about the same angle in just a few moments time as the leaders get around the start finish line. This time through, it will be up to them to, of course, decide who they're going to take on the lines. It looks like, of course, the inside line going to be delegated to the drivers up front, including Anthony Trippi, as Bogdan is on a tear here, trying to put himself in the perfect position to get this start on the lead lap. But Bogdan going to go way wide, and he's going to destroy his tires there and get it all the way into the gravel. Just sent it a bit too hard, and Hunter going to be in trouble, and he's going to have to get those tires rolling once again, losing a lot of time, and it's going to be losing maybe a bit of tire as well as he sent it way hard into that final segment of the track. The gravel trap able to save him from major damage, but Bogdan is in trouble here as he's going to have to catch up to the remainder of the pack. It looks like one driver right there with him, and that looks to be, if not Hunter Whitlock, well, nobody else. Hunter Whitlock going to be right there with him, and these guys going to try to catch up to the leaders. 27 laps remaining here in Maconi Setup Shop 110 as Bogdan come by the leaders this time by. The drivers on the S's if they're on the lead lap, and it looks like the 86 machine going to be able to fly by this time by, slowing it down just a bit. Hopefully we don't see an incident here as the 86 of Bogdan makes his way in and the entire of the field right there in front of him, and they'll have to pick them off later as Whitlock going to be on the lead lap now, and Hunter Bogdan going to have to wait to get one more in. Almost some contact there, but Bogdan holds on strong as we get to it. This time by Max Molina going to be out there in front as we get it back to the unified leaders camera. The number 45 of Molina is there in first. Anthony Trippi going to be sent down into 8th now as we are double file once again, ready to get the show on the road. 19 laps will become 20 this time by that we are entering as 27 laps remain here in Watkins Glen. And so far, Molina has been able to dominate with James Thurston now on a level playing field. This could be jeopardy for the man at number 45 machine, as Thurston has been far behind, not due to pace, but due to an incident involving Cameron Perez, himself, and Sean Conklin. So, change of fate here for the man in that number 96 machine, and he could be able to benefit from him this time by. Let's go at it once again. The iRacing official pace car going to come in this time through, and it will be the man in that 45 holding on out in front. James Thurston going to be there in position number 2 as we get it rolling once again. Green flag's going to be out this time by. Restart number 1 of the second stage. We're back under green. And a major sender is Max Molina going to go down and around. It's going to be no other driver involved with him, but Molina's going to lose an awful lot of time, and that's going to be a lot of spots lost at once. Now he's going to be all the way in the back of the pack. Max Molina losing oh so much time. Now going to be in position number 18. We'll take an instant replay on the matter. You can see he's already spinning by this point. James Thurston gets involved as well. New race leader is Sean Rowe with Sean Conklin. We'll check out what happened. James Thurston able to get a nice send there. They go 4 wide for second, and this is when it gets hectic. Conklin right there. Thurston looks like he self-spun there, but Molina goes around at the same point, and Thurston gets himself way past loose. In fact, so far past that he falls back to the back of the field. This is going to be a big mistake in this championship hunt. Implications are evident, and the 96 machine will be losing even more points to his contenders as the championship hole for him, currently 10th on the board out of 11 drivers, grows deeper. He's now in 17th with drivers such as Kenny Reel in front of him, fighting for that real estate. Sean Conklin going to put a bumper there to the driver number 99, Sean with 25 remaining on the board now, and it looks like Conklin going to be right behind Rowe. And with Sean Rowe having all this pressure on him, that Toyota Camry able to hold on elegantly, his competitors and his teammates wiped out at the same point. Marcus Vanderlee blinking, he's still going to be in third. A valiant effort from him. Anthony Trippi now going to be fighting with Cameron Perez, and Perez a debut. Anthony Trippi coming into the season very late, both of which have been able to impress, and Michael Deitch right there trying to make it happen in his hometown, his home state, shall we say. New Yorkers, well, they aren't unified about much, I'd know as one, but when it comes down to racing, they're all unified about the importance of Watkins Glen, so it feels like a hometown event for him. Michael Deitch going to be able to make it by Cameron Perez. Perez gets it all the way into the grass, does not get involved with anyone, but going to be able to keep himself in motion. The 5 machine holds on strong in proximity of that battle once again for the top 5, as the leaders going to be able to keep themselves moving. This is the battle for what looks to be position number 5. We'll watch it as well as watching the leaders at the same time. We'll get your leader camera back on its way, and you can see the battle up front going to be right there with Marcus Vanderlee in the mix. 3 drivers going to go 3 wide as we can see a big battle here as well, and side by side of the stripe, Marcus Vanderlee now going to be able to take the point. Side by side, Cameron Perez is going to do Hunter Whitlock, and they go inside. Now Vanderlee's going to be up to the point, and they're going to be able to get out nice and steady for now. Marcus Vanderlee losing an awful lot of time. We'll check back with a live feed immediately as Vanderlee going to fall down from first into third, and he's still going to be able to hold on nice and smooth. Side by side, that's what our battle camera's for. Those leaders gave us a hell of a show, and Vanderlee now looks to have what it takes to hold on for what could be his first victory. And I tell you what, Marcus Vanderlee making a road racer out of himself here tonight, and it could be time for him to rise up as a formidable driver here at circuits that go left and right, as Sean Rowe and Conklin are still going to be the primary faces in this battle. But keep out for a man in that tertiary spot so far. Vanderlee is holding on, and while he's blinking, he's going to be a relative unknown because of that. He still has some speed, and I don't believe he'll get caught in much flack as a result. The 99 going to be able to hold on with that 54. Vanderlee going to be in third, and Michael Deitch going to be able to keep himself moving as well. As everything settles down once again, Cameron Perez is right behind Michael Deitch. This seems to be an age-old battle. Perez gets it right up to the wall, and you could see that as it stands, Perez just has to keep himself consistent to get to Michael Deitch. Last time by, Deitch ran a 112.770. He is on great stances when it comes down to his pace so far. He gets a bit wide that time through. Perez going to get it a bit squirrely, and they're able to hold on as Anthony Trippi looks to go side by side there with Brandon Redford. Redford comes into tonight third in points. Hunter Whitlock makes an incredible save, by the way. A hell of a job there. But you can see that Trippi holds on with Brandon Redford. And as these guys are going to be able to make it past the 35, who lost an awful lot of momentum, Redford at 47 might be able to buffer his way into the round of 7 with this performance alone. He's one of the original members of that top 4 last season, as Perez goes in the grass and Michael Deitch takes a stop and go, and this battle is still dead even. Unbelievable. And it looks like even though they both made mistakes, they're right there. Deitch has the edge, this time by on momentum. The 57 going to try to make it happen, and there are battles galore here at Watkins Glen as the leaders come down to the stripe, and you know what that means. 23 is going to come, 22 to go, and we'll take it to our trackcams22.com. Crank it up. Track cams for Gorman's, the best cameras on iRacing. We hope you enjoy this brief presentation. And as we enter, crank it up, Beaver Serrano gets turned by Marcus Vanderlei, and Vanderlei looks to be in a world of trouble, backing it into the wall. Shades of an ARCA wreck with Amber Balkan last year at that very same corner. We'll take a look, because this one is oh so similar to a wreck that happened in the real world. 20 laps to go, and Serrano gets caught by the driver of Marcus Vanderlei, and Vanderlei, you can see his suspension is damaged, and they barrel it in right then and there, and that is it. Destroyed car, and Vanderlei going to disqualify himself, disconnect immediately thereafter. Serrano gets it rolling, but the 66 machine going to be in an awful lot of trouble now, down in 13th. And it's going to be back on his way with some rear end damage and some front end damage as well. Advantage, Sean Rowe, as Brandon Redford now going to be able to take over third, and Michael Deitch is in fourth. And James Thurston going to be able to get right by Cameron Paris. And how about James Thurston coming from 17th up into 5th on a green flag run. 12 seconds back on your leader, and it looks like he's a bit slower now, but still some great pace and should be able to claw down on Michael Deitch. But it looks like right now the indomitable Michael Deitch has been able to hold on to 4th like it is nothing. Last time by, he was slower than Brandon Redford. Granted, I believe that these guys in the back of the field did have to deal with what happened with the man in that number 56. Vanderlee had a big issue there, and that could have slowed some guys down as James Thurston locks up the brakes just a bit. They're way wide there. Hunter Whitlock doing the same thing. You see now at 45 at Max Molina battling with the 35 there, but it's not going to be for position, and it looks like Whitlock going to be able to consolidate his line. The advantage goes once more to the man in the number 45. And as you can see, Max Molina right there in tow with Cameron Perez, and James Thurston now going to be right up there on Michael Deitch. Deitch going to be able to hold on as he gains in slowly but surely, and it looks like that time through, Deitch has the outside. Brandon Redford going to be there as well. 3 wide for third, advantage Thurston, and Michael Deitch might be able to keep on himself in fourth, and they're going to be side by side for P4. Thurston going to be able to make it through 3 wide, and now Deitch going to try to cross him over. Brandon Redford going to have to stay on that high side, and Deitch gets the edge, keeps himself in fourth. But look at this, Cameron Perez now going to be able to slot himself into the equation. What a maneuver, and now going down on the inside line, locks up the tire. 3 wide once again, advantage now to Redford, and Cameron Perez going to have a bit of an issue there. Locks it up, gets in the 57, and Deitch going to fall down 2 spots at once, and that time by, it just looks like he got caught up in a bad situation as Perez is going to be able to get the advantage, and Michael Deitch gets that disadvantage. He's going to fall down big and now find himself down in 6. Bryce Hammer going to be right there with Dustin Pickle. They're fighting for position number 11 as teammates so far, and they're way in the back of the pack, not the run that they want at all road courses. I believe they mentioned to us earlier, or Bryce Hammer or Dustin Pickle or what have you, the team was able to talk to me a bit earlier, and they said that they do not have a strong road program just yet. That is one of their goals in developing as a team on iRacing, and right now, certainly going to be some room for improvement as they hold on strong, but not strong enough to hang with the leaders. Hunter Whitlock going to go side by side with Michael Deitch, and now Deitch might have a bit of wear and tear, not just on the cars. It's going to be Cameron Perez who almost goes around. Does he go around? That he does. Whitlock's going to hit him big, and 18 laps to go. They keep it moving, and looks like suspension destroyed. He'll not tow it, and Cameron Perez will keep it going. No caution out on the track. Now, there is 17 laps to go, and we have our caution out at lap 29, out of 45. Let's take a quick look at what just happened. And at 22nd instant replay, you can see by that point, Perez is destroyed. We'll take it back at half speed here and find out what happened. Instant replay on the matter. And it looks like Perez just going to get himself on the apex nicely, but drifts it up just a bit too wide. Not good at all. And he goes up high and keeps going until he gets right there into the segment, the merger of the boot and the carousel segment, and he just gets himself locked up. Molina going to be able to barely miss him, and then he turns back in, and Hunter Whitlock, no choice, and he hits the number 5. Big time incident as Cameron Perez gets caught up with Hunter Whitlock, and that will be almost race ending for certain. As you can see, both drivers are on pit road. Sean Rowe, your leader, with 17 laps remaining. It's crunch time here and now. Time is of the essence to get the victory here in Watkins Glen. Coming to the stripe, Sean Rowe able to make it so with now 16 laps remaining and 30 laps in out of 45. And a great race he's ran so far out in front as drivers like Conklin and Thurston have been too inconsistent for their own good. And now it could be good for them to get a bit of a reset mentally and get their mentality back in the optimal set of pace. As Conklin going to be able to get right back in there. He's in second. James Thurston has rallied up into third. And if Thurston was not having to climb throughout the entirety of the field from 17th up into third, there's a great chance he'd be fighting up there for the lead, if not in the lead already. So James has had an awful lot of pace, and he's looking to prove that he's still here to be a championship contender, but an unlikely and surprisingly inconsistent night when it comes to avoiding incidents and avoiding the carnage that we've seen so far. He has not taken a fast repair, so he's avoided damage, but has not avoided time loss and tire loss, and that's one of the big factors here. He's been able to avoid damage, and that is a great thing, as drivers such as Brandon Redford in fourth have already used their fast repairs, so he has an edge on some guys, but he does not have an edge on others. He's had to claw through the field, certainly using up a lot of energy, and he said tonight would be a tough one after working on some stuff medically behind the scenes. So even though he's still not 100%, he's up there in third and looking to make it happen in a crucial do-or-die stage in the championship hunt. Thurston coming home last time by outside the top 20, now in third. No chance to finish outside the top 20 here and now, and drivers have retired, the likes of which include Marcus Vanderlee, Cameron Perez, 2 laps down. Jackson Carr going to be back on the track, 2 laps down, with Hunter Bogdan 2 down as well. And Zach Todriff 1 down, and he just had an incident. Let's find out what just happened. Although it looks like he's been on the track there for quite a while. Let's find out why that happened nonetheless. Looking back at Zach Todriff, 16 laps to go, it looks like he just barreled it in and put himself onto the grass, and no signs of stopping, and hits the tire barrier just like that. Motor is blown up. That is his night. And it looks like right now his only goal is to be a spectator of this event as we ride on board with the man in that number. Well, 054 machine, when the drivers come around, and they will come around soon, it looks like he will have a great seat for the show, but will not stick around with him all too much, as it looks like he will still wait as drivers come to pit road this time by. This will be the race-off once again. Will Sean Conklin be able to win it? This is the first time everyone comes down to pit road at the same time, leaders and back markers alike, and with 15 to go, this is the stop to decide it all. This time by, Sean Rowe going to be able to come out, it looks like, in second. Conklin going to be able to get it done on row. That is going to be James Thurston, Brandon Redford, Max Molina, Michael Deitch, and Ross Orlet. Then Bryce Hammer going to be 9th, and Beaver Serrano going to be in position number 10. Dustin Pickle and Kenny Real 11th and 12th. But right now they're not off pit road, so Hunter Whitlock is scored as your leader, with Sean Conklin now right behind him. So Whitlock in a 2-lap-old set, playing a different strategy. The ball game is quite different for him, and now he'll have to use that to his advantage and perhaps put himself in the spot to get an upset victory here in the Maconi Setup Shop 110. It's possible. Is it probable? We will find out. It's evident that these guys are playing a different strategy. The long game is in effect for some, not for others, as with 15 to go, time is ticking here. Maconi Setup Shop 110 indeed. Maconi Setup Shop, proud partner of the FORL Cup Series, and they will be on for quite a while to sponsor the All-Star Race, a multi-time primary event sponsor for the season. And if you want the best setups on iRacing, make sure to go to MaconiSetupShop.com. They are the place to go for all your setup needs, even entertainment. Maconi Entertainment providing incredible packages for broadcasting. Be sure to look into those as well. Maconi Setup Shop, your one-stop shop for everything iRacing related. As Sean Conklin still holds on out in front over the remainder of the field. Sean Rowe is going to be in second, and James Thurston is in third. Brandon Redford, that is, going to be in fourth. And rounding out your top 5 is Max Molina so far, with Michael Deitch in the 6th spot. And right now, these guys are all holding on strong with 1 to green. This time through, it will be all about hitting now or missing now. It's going to be a hit or miss restart for some, not for others. As we get back to it here, it will be Conklin on that inside and Rowe on the outside. The Battle of Sean's has been for quite a while. Will it stay that way? Well, it looks like that is indeed possible. As we get back to it, this time through the top, through the 54 and the 99, still hold on strong. And as we get back to it, it's going to be Max Molina in third and James Thurston in fourth. Ross Corlett and Michael Deitch back up into that third row and just outside of the top 5. These boys have been running really well, and it looks like they'll be able to keep themselves in the mix. 57 Michael Deitch has been running up front. We've seen him in fourth for a long time, but now he's going to be down in 6th. He might just be able to make a bit more happen. An advantage to the driver of the 57 in that battle with Cameron Perez for oh so long. He battled with James Thurston and Brandon Redford, not able to hold them off. But now it seems like the time will be right for a driver like the 57 to strike as we get back at it. Michael Deitch holding on position number 6, but Sean Rowe, P1 on the board as he leads them in with what will be 13 laps of green flag racing. They'll finish this one off and cap off an exciting and eventful night here in Watkins Glen. Sean Conklin going to be right beside him, PBR teammate to Sean Rowe. Max Molina going to be right behind him now, and beside and behind. You got to work with the guys right behind you, right beside you, if they're next to you. They're right behind you, in front of you. Well, it's all about what you got. Take help where you can find it. And Sean Rowe going to have to do just that as they come down to the stripe this time by. Rowe with Conklin and James Thurston with Max Molina. Ross Corlett going to be the 5th. And Michael Deitch going to be in position number 6. Rounding at the top 10, Bryce Hamrick, Hunter Whitlock in 8th. Dustin Pickle in 9th. And then finally, Anthony Trippi, position number 10. It's been a trip for him to get up front, and here he is at the tail end of it, and it will be all about execution here and now. Let's get back at it. Sean Conklin holds on with Sean Rowe as the iRacing official pace car going to back it in once again. Going to be led off by Rowe and Conklin. They could go 3, they could go 4 wide. Anything is on the table as we go green once again, back out in front, led by Conklin. We're underway once more. And the 54 gets a rocket ship start there. Nobody on his level. And it's going to be Sean Conklin out in front of James Thurston. Hunter Whitlock going to be right there with Bryce Hamrick. And it's going to be one driver spinning. Max Molina down and around. That's going to be a major incident for him, but not a multi-car incident. And we will get an instant replay on what just happened. As you can see, Molina backing it into the first turn. Michael Dice goes to the inside line there, and Molina gets it up high. You could see that he's going to be right there with Deitch, and Deitch might come up high. I don't believe they made contact. That could be netcode there, but you can see that Molina gets a nice run off and then gets it backed in to the inside retainer there, and a big hit for his number 45, now down behind Beaver Serrano here. So front end damage at the tail end of this race could be detrimental to his chance of the victory, as James Thurston going to be right there with Sean Conklin coming in one more time. The 54 and the 96 hold on with Sean Rowe in third. Michael Dice going to be in fourth, and Ross Corlett in fifth. Whitlock, Hunter Whitlock, that is, going to be in position number 6 as Anthony Trippi. T7 on the board. Dustin Pickle rounds out the grade 8 as John Smith going to be right there with Brandon Redford, as Smith now is actually much closer to Dustin Pickle. That time by going to lose a little time as Conklin holds on with now James Thurston hot on his heels. Let's watch on board the man in the 54. And Sean Conklin, position number 1 with James Thurston, who is urging himself to get more and more in the points battle. Conklin, if he wins this race, will come out as the points leader. But right now, it is all about whether or not James Thurston will be able to pass him. Thurston, if he gets this victory, will effectively lock himself in to the round of 7. Mathematically, that's the way it goes so long as he starts every race in this round. And he knows that he will be able to do just that. So it's all about the victory here as they come right through the S's. Nice and smooth. The slowest second on the track there. They get down at about 80 miles an hour and get back on it. You can see the power is heavy there as the 54 has the 96 right behind him, and they're going to be able to keep moving nice and smooth. Sean Rowe going to be there in third, and Michael Deitch in fourth. John Smith, I tell you what, going to be able to make it up to 8 now. He has put on a great show. The 48 has done it right all night long. Last time by, he ran a 1:15. Of course, some drivers look to be a bit slower there, getting used to the tires once again. But John Smith is on pace currently with a man in 5th. And that's going to be Ross Corlett. So coming across the strike this time by, Corlett runs a 1:12.786. And John Smith runs a 1:13.499. So a bit of a disparity now, but certainly still a good showing for John Smith. It's a top 2 battle, rages on 11 laps to go here in Watkins Glen. Michael Knight's going to be in position number 6 on the board right now. That Hendrick Cars Chevrolet able to hold on to just outside the top 5 here. And that time was just about dead even with Ross Corlett with that draft. Hunter Whitlock going to be in 4th, as this could be a battle brewing just outside of the podium. Max Molina able to make it by. He's now up into 12th over Bryce Hamrick, and Molina is on a tear, has had pace all night long, able to come home with the stage victory earlier on, and we will see whether or not he's able to replicate that success. The PBR guy is coming home with that stage victory to clarify there, as Kenny Real is in 11th here. Not what he wants. The round of 11 could come to an early close if he does not pick up the momentum, and Talladega, not great to him. That plate race set him on the bad, or rather the worst trajectory for these guys contending for the championship, as Molina going to be able to run it up high once again in Toyota number 45. Brandon Redford holds on to that 47 as they come up the track once again. One driver loses an awful lot of time. Sean Conklin comes to the pit road, and that will be a drive-through penalty. Let's see if we can find out why. And it looks like that time by, it could be track limits, although it was in the lead, and it could be the way he should lead, but no, I don't believe so. So Conklin looks to have had a penalty there, drive through, and that he will, and that's going to send him back on the track once again. James Thurston now hounded by Sean Rowe. The battle has changed, and it's now the 96 and 99 going at it with 10 remaining on the clock here. Time is of the essence, and these drivers know it as Whitlock holds on strong with Michael Knight right there with him. Anthony Trippi holds on with Brandon Redford. As a matter of fact, John Smith right there for the taking. Dustin Pickle right beside him. Dustin holding on in that number 21. Kenny Reel, position number 10 on the board here as they come through the S's and get right through the final segment. The left-right-hander here that's going to decide how they go from here on out. Well, Kenny Reel going to be able to make his way into the top 10 now as Anthony Trippi in the books to put himself in 7th. Brandon Redford gets by for P6, and it's Redford to the taking to get just outside the top 5. Michael Deitch with that pass-through penalty for Sean Conklin is now in that top 5, and Ross Corlett is going to be there in 4th with Hunter Whitlock in position number 3. Sean Rowe in 2nd. James Sturts are going to be in 1st, and right now these guys up front seem to have what it takes to hold on strong and keep themselves in the battle for the race lead. It's going to be Kenny Reel, position number 10 on the board. And you can see that Kenny Reel is going to be able to reel himself into that top 10, but I don't believe it will be enough to keep himself in that championship battle, short of a miracle up front, as now James Thurston, with so many points to gain, has that position. This will be the one for the taking that he needs to keep himself in the battle, tried and true. The 96 able to hold on with Sean Rowe in 2nd and Hunter Whitlock in 3rd. Ross Corlett there in 4th, and with 9 laps to go, and even less than that, it looks like now the battles are getting to their most contentious point. Michael Deitch hot on the heels of Ross Corlett, looking to make something happen for the 4th position. New York native, the driver of that number 57, is doing a bit better than Zach Todger, who still is on the track here. And Michael Deitch able to get right by nobody just yet, but he has Hunter Whitlock in his sights, and he has Ross Corlett there as well. 8 laps remaining here in New York, and you can see James Thurston still out in front by 3/10 of a second. Michael Deitch still trying to keep himself in the battle here. Not much going to be able to be done just yet. Dustin Pickle gaining in on John Smith. This should be a nice and easy pass if he gets the room. Dustin Pickle will not just yet, but he's still looking for it, as the 21 and 48 going to be able to go side by side if Dustin Pickle sets up the shot just right. Last time by, James Thurston ran a 1:11.067 and Sean Rowe ran a 1:10.954. And to put it into perspective, these are the fastest laps ran all night long. But your top 2 drivers, you can see the 96 is being pushed to wit's end now, as Sean Rowe right there with the driver of the 99. Hunter Whitlock going to be there in that 3rd spot, and you can see the 96 pushing as hard as ever with the 99. Side by side, they're not just yet, they're back-to-back conjoined at this point. As we see it dead even that time through. Their lap times go as follows. It's going to be James Thurston with a 1:11.220 and Sean Rowe with a 1:11.1. So as the race is getting into its final segment, it is here and it is now where drivers choose their fates, and it looks like these two choosing the battle until the very end. Matthew Fainoff, the lap card they're coming up on, as Sean Conklin is right there. John Smith gonna barrel it into pit road, and an incident for the driver of the number 048 machine. Let's find out what happened. As we take a look back, Hunter Bogdan going to be way off the track again, and it looks like the 48 going to slide right there with Sean Conklin, and Conklin's going to bump both of them into pit road, and John Smith gets much worse out of it, and he gets himself stuck into the pit barriers, and that will be game over without a yellow, and he's already used 1 faster bear, so that could be good night, and that it is. It looks like John Smith down and out, towing it into pit road, and that looks to be his winning chances down in the drain, as the 96 holds on strong. Sean Rowe still right there with him, and Ross Corlett now going to lose an awful lot of time. He's in the grass. He's going to be able to save it, keep himself on the move. Another single car incident, no consideration of a yellow just yet. They keep it moving, and the 91 gets back on his way. Dustin Pickle right there with the number 45. That time by Max Molina, able to get the move on him, and with Pickle out in front, you could see that Max Molina able to make that move on him, and teamwork not going to be the dream work for the number 45 just yet, but Molina makes it back up into the top 10, and the driver who came in tonight with that points lead still holding on, as Dustin Pickle could go shot way wide, and that could be suspension damage as he runs slow through the front stretch. Sean Conklin right there with him in that moment, and we'll check back once again, as Conklin might have been involved with an ailing Dustin Pickle, and as they go side by side into the final turn, contact at the same spot, just a bit less of a bad outcome as Pickle saves it on his own accord, and Sean Conklin driving with aggression to get himself back up front. He's now going to be in 9th spot as the driver of the 96 holds on in that first spot. Take a look at the rear end of the 96 and take a look at the pressure. Now Sean Conklin makes it by into 8th, but James Thurston is still up in front. You can see he's got a load of Sean Rowe right behind him. And 5 laps to go. A big dive there from Rowe. Going to be able to get a good entry, but not a good exit. Going to go way wide is Maximina. Now going to be passed by Sean Conklin. Conklin up into 7th and gaining position after position. Now Kenny Rio going to be in the battle for 8th here and reeling himself back in. It looks like that's going to be the story for the Jordan number 11 machine as Conklin takes himself back up into the top 7. Looking to get into that top 5. It could happen here. He has a lot of pace and not a lot of patience. Next man on the agenda going to be Anthony Trippi if he gets through. And Brandon Redford, who came into this race 3rd in points, looking to make himself 2nd in points if he gets much more out of this one. Would come into this one as a contender and come out as perhaps a potential favorite. Tonight's been not kind to any driver, but in the 111 range, Brandon Redford getting himself down to the aces level, and he has some fast laps cooking. Last time by a 1:11.962, only a 10th off his best lap. Bryce Hamrick gonna come right in front of the leaders, able to save it, and it looks like that could have been an incident, but it was avoided, and that was a big scare for the 96 of James Thurston. Let's run the board with Sean Rowe, because that could have been a moment to forget for both drivers. Let's take a 30-second instant replay. Watch the battle here. 4 laps to go, and Hamrick almost rotates it out of control in front of the men who lead this race, and that could have been much worse. Look at this. James Thurston right in front of the 96, and Hamrick out of control, sees the leaders, able to keep it in front of them and keep it right beside him. No damage, no harm, no foul, but just a big scare there as they come back to the stripe. Now they're going to be halfway through it, and Hamrick far out of frame. Brandon Redford is right there with Hunter Whitlock. The battle in the podium places is getting more and more intense, and you can see these two are on each other big time. The 47 holds on strong with Hunter Whitlock right there locking fenders. They have not just yet, but it looks like they're getting closer and closer to just that. Now, Sean Conklin up into 6th. Maximina has been passed, and now the 54 makes his way into position number 6. I tell you what, this road course racing, getting the best of some drivers and getting the better out of others, and you could see who's getting the better out of themselves. Sean Conklin has been able to make major gains all night long, now into the 6th spot, and Michael Deitch, the next man to chase, is about 3 seconds up as Bryce Hamrick going to be right there behind the battle. Right there in front of this is Brandon Redford going to get big time tapped. Whitlock right there, not locked in at all, and now the 35 going to lose time. John Smith behind this battle. Michael Deitch is as well. Redford almost gets up into the wall. They're going to be able to keep it nice and smooth. John Smith running slow on the front stretch, and they're going to come to the strike this time by 3 laps to go. Half a second separates your top 2 drivers, and it's going to be all about a last-minute lunge for the man like Sean Rowe or Thurston, as James Thurston, after losing so much time in the championship standings, so many points, it looks like he has made the most of it here and now. 43 laps in to the Maconi Setup Shop, 110. He's going to be able to lead them through, and with 3 remaining and less than that, it's still going to be the 96 holding on strong. Kenny Rio, one of the few drivers who is still not taking his fast repair, is currently in the 9th position, able to recover just a bit, but now losing a spot to Anthony Trippi. They come up on a smoke show. That's Sean Conklin. Big time moment. He's going to be able to recollect it. 3 laps to go. No cautions out. Let's find out what happened. As we see, Sean Conklin has been oh so aggressive. Now not going to be able to catch Michael Deitch at all. And he just looks like he backed it in to the wall there as he came down trying to chase down and fend off John Smith, and we'll see what happened. John Smith right there side by side with him, and they make contact. A big hit. John Smith is going to get right into Sean Conklin, and that brings out no yellow, but going to take out Sean Conklin from winning contention. Evidently not going to be happy about that one, as Conklin gets hard turned into and is now in 7th. Brandon Redford gets by. Sean Conklin still holding on, and Anthony Trippi, and these guys are going all 4s as they fight once again. It's going to be Sean Rowe getting in the grass just a bit as 1 lap to go this time by, and the leaders are oh so close. 2 laps they're now onto, and 44 laps in, the 45th is right up next. It's all about what's coming up as Thurston going to be able to hold on with Sean Rowe. right there as they barrel right by. And you can see Sean is right there on the curbs. He ran him quite hard as we introduced him to the camera, and he's still fighting for 7th. But James Thurston going to be able to come across the stripe this time by with 1 lap to go. He has been far from patient, but he's been far from too aggressive. And now 1 to go for the man who needs this win more than anyone else in the championship hunt. Coming at the points 10th tonight, he is far out of contention for the round of 7. Beaver Serrano going to go a bit wide, and now both drivers in the leading battle go wide at the same time. And riding aboard once again with Sean Rowe. This is all about handwork and all about gear shifting. Gets out of the 4th, puts the power down earlier than James Thurston. Gets a perfect run here. This could be the moment through the S's that he has been waiting for all night long. This is do or die, and it looks like he is not choosing to do just yet. Gonna let James Thurston oversend it just a bit. Gonna get all the way on the curbs, and Thurston goes a bit wider. Sean Rowe gets a more concise exit, and now it's gonna be all about what they have in store. Thurston gonna get a bit of a tap there, a little bit of love tap. Will it turn to hate this time by? We'll see if animosity brews. Thurston goes way wide. Sean Rowe gonna be able to collect it just a bit better, and now it's gonna be all about the run to the checkers. 2 turns to do it. First, a left-hander. Thurston gonna be able to take it nicely. Sean Rowe right there. Then, the right-hander. Will he be able to make anything happen? Yes, he will! Drag race side by side. Sean Rowe gets there, but not enough. Drag race is gonna come beneficiary. The 96. James Thurston wins the Maconi Setup Shop 110 with Sean Rowe right there. And that was a finish for the history books. And a nice clean finish between 2 great drivers. What more can you expect out of James Thurston and Sean Rowe? He was there, but he backed off. And that's just racing respect at its finest. Stick around for interviews. We'll get all the information from every driver involved in this one. Redford comes home with an unpredictable, unexpected 3rd, but James Thurston almost lost it on that final turn. And it was Sean Rowe's mercy that might have just kept him in it. And Thurston going to be able to win over the remainder of the field. Sean Rowe in 2nd, Brandon Redford there in 3rd, Hunter Whitlock in 4th, locking it up just outside the podium. Michael Deitch, the New Yorker, coming home in 5th, and Max Molina in 6th, with Sean Conklin in 7th. Anthony Trippi going to come home in 8th, and Ross Corlett in 9th. Justin Pickle comes home in position number 10. Jackson Carr, the final driver on the lead lap in the 11th spot, with the drivers as follows, at least 1 lap down. It's going to be Bryce Hamrick in 12th, Kenny Reel in 13th, Matthew Fena 14th, Beaver Serrano going to be in 15th as John Smith comes home in 16th. Bogdan going to be P17, Zach Todger in 18th, Cameron Perez comes home in 19th, and Marcus Vanderlee position number 20. To round out the field, it's going to be Jackson Carr, and then it looks like Jackson Carr, who was, of course, there in the beginning second of the race, outside the top 20. Rodriguez, not one of them, but it's going to be Zachary Milano. And then, finally, Joaquin Stewart. Bryce Hamrick going to make it into the round of 7 by 1 point. I'm not sure what this means for James Thurston, but as he goes through the woodlands here, no camera going to be able to accurately catch him. You can see Thurston is on the boot segment, and Bryce Hamrick celebrating, making it in to the round of 7. James Thurston taking his rounds as well as he comes home as a winner, and clutch performance for Hamrick as drivers begin to come to the recollection that yes, this is the cutoff for the round of 7 before we get to our final 2 rounds, and the final 4 will be set very, very soon. But for now, it is James Thurston, a man at the top of the board, and we will get a word from him immediately as the race has concluded in dominating fashion for some, but it looks like James Thurston just able to win this race off of attrition. And what a race that was. And we're going to get an interview with the man in that number 96 machine, and get, of course, one with Sean Rowe as well. Get all 3 drivers on the podium into the waiting room to get them in for an interview as Thurston burns it down here and now. What a finish, taking his lap, taking an extended lap as points are being tabulated as we speak. And James Thurston, I do not believe we'll have to worry about any of this as he comes home as the race winner, and he will punch his ticket into the next round of the playoffs. Backing it down and backing it off the circuit, James Thurston comes home your race winner, and it will be the man of that 96 who comes home, of course, position number 1. And how about that as we try to get drivers in for an interview, none of which are ready just yet, but James Thurston, he won After all the trials and all the tribulation, 45 laps, and he's the man who comes home on the top of the board. So hopefully we get a comment from any driver on the podium. So far, none of which have joined in, but James Thurston is going to be the first of which, and position number one tonight, where you oh so desperately needed the victory, everything that you could do. Well, looks like you did it. James Thurston, looks like you're into round of 7 as well. How are you feeling?
Oh man, that one was a little bit difficult there. Yeah, I managed to hold up Sean there. Those all those last laps, he was pretty quick there at the end. Yeah, that was a bit of a challenge, but I could put myself in a bit of a hole earlier in the race, wrecking on one of the restarts. Spun myself out, went all the way to the back, then went from all the way in the back all the way back to third, and then a caution came out, put me back up in the front, and yeah, just was on fire for that.
And a night to remember after that. Indeed, a fierce battle with Sean Rowe. So how was it going as hard as you could? 100%. And it looks like that came down to the last turn.
Oh yeah, it definitely did. He was closing in real hard right there, and he definitely could have sent it in there and just wrecked me for it, but just glad he didn't. And just huge thanks to him. I owe him one for that one. And yeah, just overall pretty fun race. Obviously, iRacing just updated these cars, so just getting used to the new tire model and stuff is always interesting to get done. So yeah, just happy to win.
And happy to win indeed. Bristol, the next race on the schedule, according to what I've got as information. And the round of 7, well, you're going to be in it, and very few drivers are going to be right there with you. So what's it going to take from here on out to secure the championship?
I don't know by how much I'm in the next round, but I know that since I missed last week, I'll kind of missed it. I joined the race late and got a bunch of laps back and got like 2 positions, but I know I was pretty far down in points. I don't know where I was going to make it or not, but yeah, racing in the next round should be fun. Hopefully we can get to the championship round and win the championship. That's the obvious goal. But yeah, just fun so far.
Certainly been a fun showdown for you, James Thurston, winning the Maconi Setup Shop 110. So anyone else you'd like to thank, and any final thoughts?
Thanks to Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsports for the fast car as always, and yeah, let's go get them again.
And looking to get them again, indeed, Road Course Warrior, and ace of them for certain, winning at Watkins Glen here tonight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
So drag him right back in and get Sean Rowe, your second place finisher on the night. Now, Sean Rowe, the 99 machine, was on fire and oh so close to the victory. So how was it holding on until the tail end there and almost getting it done here in the final race of the round of 11?
I'm gonna be honest. That was probably the hardest I've ever pushed on iRacing. Like, I thought I was about to wreck every single corner of every single lap closing in there. I knew Thurston was at definitely the fastest guy on the track, and he had trouble before. And then that late yellow, it got him really close to me, which I wasn't too happy with because I'd want him to stay far away from me because he's so fast. But yeah, I was pushing really hard there, and I feel like recently I've seen a lot of people wrecking people for wins. And going into that final corner, I wanted to try to make it clean, and I just didn't get it. I tried sending it a little bit, and then I was going to get tight. And take me a month, maybe a year ago, I would have gone in there, just got it tight, punted him up the track, and tried to win it myself. But I tried racing him clean there. I feel like that was a great battle in this league.
And one great battle to remember, of course, a very clean one, as you mentioned. No incident would have came down to the dumping. So was there any thought in your mind of how you could have won otherwise?
You see, the final closing laps, he was pulling away, so I had to keep on pushing. But every time I feel like I'd push, I'd make another mistake, which kept slowing me down. And I think the only way I could have won it is if I didn't make as many mistakes as I did, or maybe a lap car got in the way or something, got him a little bit closer. I think my best shot of getting side by side with him, other than that final corner, was probably through the carousel. I feel like if I could have gotten a better drive off, I could have gone to the inside, going into the left-hander. But I don't think there's many other ways I could have won without wrecking him or dumping him in some way. But I didn't. I just want to race clean, not make any enemies, and yeah, just keep focused on the championship.
And the focus is indeed the championship. I do believe you'll be one of the 7 drivers in that round of 7, the aforementioned round of 7, with James Thurston there as well. So Bristol, next race up, what's it going to take to come home with a victory?
I think tire saving is going to be a big thing. I feel like I'm really good at Next-Gen Bristol. I won there in another league. I've won there actually in a couple leagues, but I feel like that's one of my favorite tracks in real life. I think that's carried over to the sim, where I think I can be good there, mainly because I like it and I'm just open to learning new tactics there. I think if I'm able to save tires, keep my nose clean, I can gain a lot of points and maybe the win.
And look at the game, the win indeed. A great run here tonight to send you into the second to last round of the championship hunt. So, Sean Rowe, any final thoughts? Anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Zach Todriff for running PBR and keeping me on this team. He's a great guy. It's just been fun lately, and I feel like he keeps like a lot of the spirit going for me. To have good runs and stuff. And I want to thank Max Molina. He is another one of my teammates. He had a little bit of a rough race near the end there, but he was fast. He didn't want to wreck me either for stuff, and I'm thankful for that. I want to thank Peter Serrano for being the GOAT at iRacing. He went easy on us there, which is why he didn't win. I think if he actually tried, he would have won by like a lap or two. And yeah, I want to thank just all my teammates, and thank you guys for running this show, and just focus on next week.
There we have it. Focus is on next week after a great race to set the tone for the round of 7. Sean Rose, second on the night. Thank you for your time. Drag him in and get your third place finisher, and that is Brandon Redford. And I tell you what, Brandon, you impressed me very much tonight. The 47 seemed to be a rocket ship, and I was not expecting that at all. Pace carried over all night, and you were up there with the leaders for a brief while there. So how was it tonight in that 47?
It was fast. We had some, I guess, bad luck throughout the race. Had to get sent to the back a couple times, and then we wrecked, I think, trying to avoid Rowe out of the bus stop, and we ended up getting into the outside wall, so that broke our car, and then we pit for damage. I didn't use a faster pair, and then on lap 8 we pit again, and I accidentally used my faster pair, so that wasn't really helpful. So really the goal of the race was just to survive till the end and try to get a good position, and then just made our way through and ended third. So I was pretty happy with the car.
And to see him be one of the quicker cars on the track, and of course involved with some fierce battles at the end of the race. So what was it managing the car and managing, of course, the chaos around you?
Just being aware of who's being aggressive and who's not, and who's slow and who's quick. Trying to get around, trying to figure out a good advantage or place where you can pass without getting yourself into a bad situation. So just trying to stay out of trouble there.
And staying out of the trouble, you were definitely able to do so. Now, Watkins Glen, a troublesome track, and I believe you'll be able to come out of this one in the round of 7. So next track up on the schedule, it will be Bristol. What's the game plan to get the title here, as you would be one of the few drivers eligible to go back-to-back in the Championship 4?
Bristol is a good track for me. I'm just hoping to avoid all the chaos, which, knowing this place, is going to happen, no doubt. So just trying to stay out of that and just be there at the end like today. So, and then I don't know what the next track is after that. So.
And there we have it. And I don't know if it's going to be Daytona, as it looks like what I have information to says there's going to be a second Daytona. I'll keep you posted on that one. Brandon Redford still third on the board tonight. So any final thoughts?
No, not really.
And there we have it. Brandon Redford third on the board here tonight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And there we have it. Hunter Whatluck was in the voice chat to get an interview in. We will see if he wants one still. And if he does, well, we'll get him right back in. If not, we'll get Bryce Hamrican. Looks like he is no longer waiting. Hunter Whitlock is indeed, as we'll get Bryce Hamrican if there's no confirmation, and that there does not appear to be. So Bryce Hamrican, the final interview of the night, the 94 machine, able to squeak in by apparently a point or so. So what's the situation when it comes down to points? 12th tonight, not what you wanted, but still able to carry yourself into the round of 7.
Yeah, I had, I forget who I was following there with a few laps to go. I just had a blind view into the chicane, and I just kind of shortcutted it just a little too much, got too much of the wall, so I had to come in and take my take my faster pair with a handful of laps to go. It was just unbearable. But I knew I was too good, 2 points to the good to Kenny Reel coming into this race, and I just needed to hold serve, try and get a top 10, top 15, and Kenny was 4 spots ahead of me there until he spun on the last lap. And then Ross told me that Kenny spun, and I was like, no, cap, because I did not believe it. And then I'm driving around on the last lap, and I'm a lap down, so I don't know if that would have mattered if I didn't pit and just didn't screw myself over there at the end. But passing Kenny and then coming to the line, seeing he's in pit road, I beat him by a point. So, where did he finish? Well, he finished behind me. So I was lucky enough to make it in by a point, and by the skin of my teeth. I made it in by 3. So the fact that Kenny spun on the last lap is the only reason I made it. Otherwise, he would have made it. So I am like, my heart has not come down. I'm pumped right now. Because I'm excited for Bristol. It's going to be a fun race. I've made a setup for Daytona, so I'm excited for that. Hopefully we can try and point our way through. We made all CCH guys through. But man, I'm pumped.
And a great finish to the round of 11 eventually. It's going to be, of course, leading into the round of 7 next week at Bristol. So excitement to keep you in the move here. So what's it going to take to come home on top in the round of 7 to keep yourself in the championship battle?
I'm going to have to be really smart, and Daytona is going to have to be interesting because we had a plan for Talladega and it didn't go well at all. Things just kind of got messed up. Bristol, Dustin and I are pretty confident with it because we've raced there in leagues before and our official races have been pretty good there. And I do really well at short tracks with these cars. So as long as I qualify well, stay up front, miss the messes, let guys wreck, run on old tires. Old tires are good to me in this car. So a long run at Bristol would do me awesome, but I just have to survive. That's all I got to do because Phoenix, I'm going to need to practice. But yeah, surviving is the name of the game.
And absolutely, in one way, Bristol is like Watkins Glen. It's all about survival. So Bryce Hamrick, 12th of the night, going to be able to get you into the round of 7. Any final thoughts? Anyone you'd like to thank?
Well, I got to thank Dustin for this one just because he helped me tone back for Watkins Glen a little bit because I've just not been good here with these cars. So he gave me a few tips that kind of just helped me to stay low, slow, and steady just to survive. Yeah, I think it's just been great. I have to thank me for sponsoring my own car. Yeah, so it's been great. The W machine's been solid. So yeah, I think it's been great. I'm ready for the next round.
And there we have it. Looking for the next round. Indeed, it's going to be Bryce Hamrick of the 94 machine advancing to the round of 7. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Drag him right back in here as Hamrick going to be on his way, and that will be the final interview of the night. What a show it was, and 7 drivers going to be coming home to, of course, outside of the sim racing world, knowing they'll be in the round of 7, and James Thurston caps off this round of 11 with a walk-off win to keep him in the championship hunt. What a race it was with Thurston coming home on the top step of the podium. Thank you all for watching tonight. A great race put on by every one of these drivers. From commentary and production, I was David Kreutz, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation I was able to bring to you. This is the FORL Cup Series and the Maconi Setup Shop 110. Hope to see you all whenever we are live on FTN tomorrow night. Doubleheader with IORA and the Highline Racing League. And the Highline Racing League will be at Watkins Glen. We hope to see you there for another great showcase of Next Gens at the Glen. Thank you all for watching. We hope you have a great night.